Hi, you're on the Reddit Confessions channel. The moment I knew she was gone for good was when I opened an email with no subject line. No hey, no sorry, just, I hope one day you understand why I chose him. That's how it ended. Not with a fight, not with closure, not even with her voice. Just one line. Cold, quiet, typed from an address that used to send me hearts and inside jokes. That email hit harder than any argument could have because by the time I read it, she was already on a flight to Arizona with the man her family picked out for her. I'm Franklin. And no, I'm not okay. We were together 4 years. I built everything around her, my plans, my weekends, even the way I arranged my furniture. She hated clutter, said it made her anxious. So I kept my life tidy, just for her. God, I even gave up popcorn because the smell made her nauseous. She never asked me to. I just did. And for what? So she could vanish overnight and marry a guy who owns a landscaping company and drives a Range Rover? I didn't even know she'd left the city until her sister posted a congrats to the future Mr. and Mrs. photo on Instagram. I had to zoom in on her left hand to see the ring. She blocked me everywhere, but forgot to block her sister. That's how I found out. The filtered photo. You want to know what hurts the most? It's not the betrayal. It's not the silence. It's not even that she replaced me. It's that she upgraded me. At least that's how it felt. Her family always saw me as a temporary detour. I was sweet, supportive, a good guy for now. Her father never even looked me in the eyes. Said I had soft hands and small plans. I ran a quirky little audio startup back then. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. She used to say I had a brilliant mind. Said I was going to build something that would change the world. Then one day, I guess she changed her mind. After that email, I sat in my kitchen and stared at my laptop until the screen went black. Not from turning off. From inactivity. Just like me. I didn't go out for 6 days. I didn't shave. I drank soup from the can and cried during toothpaste commercials. My chest felt like it had collapsed inward, like someone had ripped out the blueprint for my future and left a blank wall. But here's what she didn't know. While she was off chasing a version of perfection her family could clap for, I was building something behind the scenes. Something real. Something explosive. And 1 year later, while she tried to smile through filtered regret, I was standing on a stage in front of investors, holding the patent that changed my life forever. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Because back then I was still broken. Still invisible. Still sitting alone in a chair meant for two. And the world was about to crack open in ways none of us expected. The night I hit rock bottom, I wasn't drinking. I wasn't out with friends trying to forget her. I wasn't even crying. I was sitting in my dimly lit bedroom, alone, watching her engagement party through a live stream someone accidentally made public. There she was, wrapped in some pastel designer dress, kissing him in front of champagne glasses and garden lanterns. The kind of party you only see in wedding magazines. Everyone was smiling, laughing. Her mother gave a toast. I couldn't hear the words, but I saw the way Lydia nodded, eyes shining like she actually believed in this fantasy. She looked like someone who had been told she'd finally made the right choice, like someone who had erased me completely. I didn't move for the entire stream. I just stared, jaw tight, chest caved in. I didn't even know whose phone was broadcasting it. It had Millie_steps up as the username. Probably a friend of the family. I should have closed it. I should have stopped punishing myself. But I couldn't. I needed to see how easily she could live without me. That night, something broke inside me. Not just my heart. My illusions. All that time I'd spent blaming myself, thinking I wasn't enough, wondering if I could have done something different vanished. Because while they danced under twinkle lights, I remembered something I hadn't thought about in months. 2 weeks before she left, I was pitching my product, an advanced modular speaker system I'd been developing in my garage, to a tiny audio tech firm. Just 4 guys in a brick office in Jersey. I thought the meeting was a flop. They said they'd get back to me soon. They didn't. Until that night. The moment I closed the livestream tab, I saw the unread email. The subject line hit me like lightning. Let's talk about licensing. No joke. I opened it, heart racing. They wanted a follow-up. Said their senior engineer had tested my prototype and was genuinely impressed. Wanted to meet, in person, in 3 days. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because the universe has a sense of humor cruel enough to land a punch after you've already hit the mat. I should have felt hope, right? A spark? But instead I felt numb. Like I didn't even deserve the break anymore. Like success would be meaningless without her. But something in me whispered, go anyway. So I shaved for the first time in 10 days. Pulled out the only blazer I owned. The one she said made me look like I was about to give a TED Talk. And I got on the train to Jersey with nothing but my prototype and a shaking stomach. I didn't know it then, but that meeting would become the moment everything began to shift. Quietly, like the first crack in a frozen lake before it breaks wide open. But before that shift, something else was coming. Something I never could have predicted. The morning of the meeting, I almost bailed. I stood in front of the mirror for 20 minutes, wondering if I looked like someone worth investing in. I hadn't worn the blazer since she left. It still smelled faintly of her perfume, which somehow clung to everything even though she had been gone for months. I picked it up, put it down, picked it up again. Then I told myself, don't give her this day too. The office was a small second-floor space above a pizzeria. Nothing fancy. But the moment I stepped into that room, I felt something I hadn't felt in ages, possibility. These weren't corporate robots in suits. They were tech guys, scruffy, overcaffeinated, speaking in half-finished sentences about waveform isolation and modular circuits. And when I pulled out my prototype and started explaining it, I saw something rare, genuine interest. Not pity, not polite nods, real curiosity. Their lead engineer, a guy named Trent, asked me 100 questions. Then he did something no one ever did before. He turned to his team and said, this could change how indie audio setups are built. Like, fundamentally. My chest tightened. I wasn't used to being taken seriously. I'd spent so long explaining myself to people who saw me as a nice hobbyist that I forgot what it felt like to be respected. By the end of the meeting, they asked if I'd be open to a licensing deal with a potential path to partnership. My voice cracked when I said yes. I walked out in a daze, holding the door like it might collapse under my hand. I thought maybe that was it. Maybe the story was about to flip. But the universe had one more gut punch loaded, just to make sure I didn't get too comfortable. That evening, I stopped by a coffee shop to process everything. I needed a place that didn't feel like home, because home still smelled like her. I was scrolling through my phone when I heard a laugh behind me. Sharp. Familiar. Too familiar. I turned. Lydia, standing just a few feet away, dressed in some new city chic outfit that looked expensive and miserable. She didn't see me. Not at first. She was holding her phone, trying to force a smile into it for what looked like a FaceTime call. Her voice was overly bright, like someone auditioning for happiness. Then I saw it. Her hand dropped for a second, and her face fell. She didn't know I was watching, but her expression in that moment was empty. Then she noticed me. Her face snapped into surprise, then panic, like I was the last person she wanted to see. I nodded, not with anger, just acknowledgement. She opened her mouth to say something, but I stood up and walked past her. I didn't want words. Not anymore. She'd already used up her quota when she sent that subjectless email. What could she possibly say now? Congrats? I didn't expect you to actually succeed? I walked outside, and for the first time in months, I realized something both painful and powerful. I didn't need closure from her. I didn't need her validation. I had my own momentum now, my own future, and whatever regret she was choking on, that was hers to carry. But that wasn't the last time I'd see her. And the next time, she wouldn't be able to fake a smile. I didn't respond right away. I just stared at the message like it had teeth. It had been 2 weeks since I saw her at that coffee shop. 2 weeks since her fake smile shattered when she spotted me. I thought that would be the end of it, just a weird, accidental run-in. But there she was on my screen now. A name I deleted from every contact list, quietly sneaking into my DMs like nothing had happened. Hey, can we talk sometime? Just want to clear the air. That was it. No apology. No explanation. Just casual curiosity, like we bumped into each other at a grocery store and she remembered she left a sweater at my place 2 years ago. My heart raced. My brain said delete it, but my fingers hovered. I didn't answer. Couldn't. Not yet. Instead, I threw myself deeper into the licensing deal. Trent and his team weren't just talking anymore, they were executing. We were building beta units, preparing for demos, even getting interest from a small music venue chain. For the first time in years, I wasn't just dreaming. I was moving. Fast. But I'd be lying if I said Lydia's message didn't crawl into my mind like mold. Every night, I'd wonder what she meant. Clear the air? Why now? Did she see the posts? One of the engineers had tagged me in a celebratory tweet, and I had to admit it felt good. She probably saw it. She had friends who followed me. At least before she told them I was too obsessed with his little invention. I didn't reply, not for a week. But curiosity has a way of cracking your resolve. So one night, just past midnight, I typed, "Sure, but I don't owe you anything." She responded in 4 minutes. "I know. Can we just meet somewhere? Not weird. Just talk." Against every instinct, I agreed. I told her we could meet at a neutral place, a bookstore cafe I used to go to before everything fell apart. I chose it because it had no history. Nothing about it reminded me of her. I needed that. When I walked in, she was already sitting there. No engagement ring, no smile. Just Lydia, looking thinner than I remembered, and oddly older. Life had touched her in ways I didn't expect. She stood, hesitated, then sat back down like even she didn't believe this was a good idea. "I'm not here to mess with your life," she said, barely above a whisper. I didn't know how to carry it anymore. Carry what? She looked away. The lie. It took everything in me not to laugh. Now she wanted to unload. Now that her castle was crumbling, she needed someone to help sort through the rubble. She told me things I never expected to hear. That Marshall, the golden boy her parents adored, turned out to be emotionally distant, controlling even, that he didn't like when she spoke about the past, that he once scrolled through her phone while she was asleep, that he'd made her delete photos of me, even the ones where I was just in the background. She started crying halfway through, not sobbing, just quiet, exhausted tears. I didn't touch her. I didn't offer a tissue. I just listened, because somewhere deep inside, I think I needed to hear her say it. Not to forgive her, not to rebuild anything, but to understand. When she finally looked at me again, she asked, "Are you happy now?" I didn't answer, because honestly, I wasn't sure. I was doing better. I was succeeding. But happy? That felt like a word too big for where I was standing. So I just said, "I'm moving forward." And then I got up, left her with her untouched tea and walked out. But that wouldn't be the last message I'd get from her. And the next one, it would change everything. I hadn't heard from her in a week. After that weird, emotionally messy meetup at the bookstore cafe, I figured that was it, her version of closure. A final tearful monologue, and we'd both go back to our separate corners of the world. I didn't expect gratitude. I didn't expect peace. I just hoped she'd fade from my life completely. But Lydia doesn't fade. She lingers. It was a Thursday evening. I was home, elbows deep in a production timeline with Trent and the licensing team. We were finalizing a demo schedule for a tech conference in Austin. That's when I saw the notification. Her name again. A new message. No greeting. No hesitation. "Franklin, there's something you should know before it goes public." My heart dropped. Not because I still loved her. I didn't. But because anytime someone says "before it goes public," it means your peace is about to be stolen. I opened the message. There's a video of me from when Marshall and I were still engaged. I didn't know he was recording it. I didn't consent. And now, someone's threatening to leak it. I think it's his ex. Or maybe him. I don't know. But your name comes up in it. Just once. But if it gets out, people might come after you too. I'm sorry. I stared at the screen, blinking hard like it might suddenly change if I looked long enough. Your name comes up in it. That sentence looped in my brain like static. I hadn't been with her in months. We hadn't spoken, hadn't touched. Whatever video she was talking about had nothing to do with me. So why was my name in it? I called Trent, told him everything. He listened quietly, then said, "If your name's in something scandalous, even in passing, it could spook the board, or potential partners." I felt sick, not because I'd done anything wrong, but because I knew how these things worked. Perception didn't care about truth. One blurry connection to a headline and everything I'd built could unravel before it had a chance to grow. I messaged her back, asking for details. What exactly was said? Why was my name mentioned? Could she prove it? She replied with a voice note. Her voice cracked as she explained that during the video, while drunk, she had brought up the guy she never should have left, that she said my full name, that she called me the only person who ever saw her for real, and that Marshall apparently freaked out, stopped recording, and stormed out of the hotel room. The next day, she found the video saved on his laptop. She never deleted it, said she was afraid of making him angry. After they broke up, he left the laptop behind during a move. His ex got her hands on it. Now, the video was a weapon, and I was collateral damage. I sat in the dark for hours after that, my mind spiraling through every worst-case scenario. What if investors saw it? What if Lydia spun this into some twisted redemption arc and pulled me into her public fallout? I didn't want any of it, but like it or not, I was in it. And the moment that video surfaced, everything I'd been building, my name, my company, my fragile grip on forward momentum, would be thrown into a spotlight I never asked for. I needed to make a choice. Stay quiet and hope it blows over, or go public first and take control of the narrative? What I chose next surprised even me. I barely slept. I kept checking news alerts, Reddit threads, random gossip blogs. Anything that might give me a clue if the video had leaked. Nothing yet, but it felt like watching the clouds turn black before a thunderstorm. You know it's coming. You just don't know when it's going to hit. I kept hearing Lydia's voice in that stupid voice note she sent me. I said your name because I missed who I was with you. I didn't feel flattered. I felt trapped. Her guilt was now a ticking time bomb under my feet. Trent kept texting me, asking if I had a plan. I didn't. I had panic. And that's not the same thing. The next morning, I woke up with my phone vibrating off the nightstand. A no-caller ID number. I almost didn't answer, but something in my gut said pick up. It was a reporter. Somehow, she already knew my name was involved. She was vague, professional, but her questions cut deep. "Mr. Wade, do you have a comment on the video circulating that references you directly?" I froze. My mouth went dry. "It hasn't surfaced yet," I said, "so there's nothing to comment on." "But you are aware of its contents?" "Only what I've been told. Off the record." She paused. "You might want to get ahead of this. The woman involved, she's not handling it quietly." I hung up. My stomach turned. That was it. The fuse had been lit. I opened my laptop and stared at a blank Google Doc for almost an hour. Then I started writing. Not a defense. Not a confession. A truth. I explained who I was. That Lydia and I had been together for 4 years. That she left me. That I had nothing to do with her relationship with Marshall or the video being discussed. I explained my business, my work, and why this mess could harm people who had nothing to do with it. Engineers, interns, dreamers who believed in what we were building. I didn't post it right away. I sent it to Trent first. He read it, then replied with one sentence. "It's honest. That's enough." The next morning, it began. A small entertainment blog published a blurry screenshot from the video, just Lydia's tearful face in a dim hotel room. The caption read, "Ex-fiancé of Marshall DeWitt seen breaking down while mentioning former boyfriend." My name was blurred, but the internet's favorite hobby is unblurring things. It took less than an hour for someone to post a screenshot from my LinkedIn under the thread. And just like that, I was trending. I posted the statement. Clean. No emotion. Just facts. But that didn't stop the swarm. DMs exploded. My email filled with interview requests. Some people praised me. Some accused me. One person even messaged, "Bet you're loving the free press." I wanted to scream. Then came the email from Marshall. No greeting, no threat, just this: "She always talked about you, even when she was with me. Hope the attention's worth it." I closed my laptop. I wanted it all to go away. I wanted to rewind to before she came back into my life. But Pandora's box doesn't come with a close tab button. I was no longer just Franklin Wade, the guy with a speaker startup. Now, I was a name in a scandal I never asked to be part of. But what none of them knew, what she didn't know, was that someone else had been watching all of this unfold quietly, and they were about to send me a message that would flip everything on its head. The subject line was vague, almost suspicious. Opportunity in light of recent publicity. At first, I thought it was another reporter fishing for a soundbite. But when I clicked on the sender, my jaw locked. It was from a development manager at Rydell Audio Systems, a name I'd only ever seen printed on high-end gear at trade shows I couldn't afford to attend. A company that once ignored my application 3 years ago, without so much as a no thanks. Now they were reaching out. The email wasn't long. Just 4 lines. "Hi Franklin, we've been following the story. While unfortunate, it's drawn a lot of attention to your name and product. We'd like to schedule a conversation regarding potential collaboration. Let us know your availability." I sat back in my chair, blinking at the screen like it had glitched. Rydell. The Rydell. The company that dominated boutique speaker innovation. And they wanted to talk. Because of the scandal. I hated that part. That this all came from chaos. But still, I couldn't ignore it. I called Trent and forwarded him the email. His response: "Play it cool. We don't grovel, but we don't ignore gold either." We scheduled a virtual meeting for the following Tuesday. I barely breathed the entire time waiting for it. Meanwhile, the scandal kept simmering. Lydia had gone silent again. Rumors swirled that she'd left the city. Her engagement to Marshall was now officially over, according to a leaked RSVP cancellation from a wedding planner who apparently had no chill. I wasn't surprised. What did surprise me was how fast public opinion began shifting. Somehow, after I posted my statement, after I stayed calm and never took shots at either of them, people started reframing the narrative. Instead of being the guy dragged into drama, I became the ex who handled it with class. TikTok videos started using my name as a meme for "the one that got away." Cringe. A little. But effective? Absolutely. Then Tuesday came. The Rydell call was sleek and fast. They didn't waste time. They wanted to explore co-developing a compact speaker line based on my modular tech. They called it Franklin's Edge during the pitch. I didn't correct them, even though the name made me sound like a 2002 indie band. By the time we ended the call, they were already drafting a preliminary terms sheet. Licensing, exposure, royalties. Serious numbers. The kind that make your chest tighten and your knees weak. This wasn't just a deal. It was legitimacy. And just like that, the narrative flipped again. But of course, Lydia had to appear the second things got quiet. It was like she had a sixth sense for peace and a personal mission to disrupt it. She sent me a voice note. Her voice was low, flat. "I know everything's blowing up for you. I saw the news. I'm happy for you, I think. But I really need to talk. Please, just one more time." I ignored it. Then she sent a second one. "It's not about the video. It's about something I never told you. Something I should have said before I left." That one sat in my inbox for 3 days. I didn't touch it. I didn't even want to hear her voice. But late one night, after I'd finally signed the initial deal with Rydell, I hit play. And what she said shattered everything I thought I knew. I sat in the dark for nearly an hour before pressing play. I didn't want her voice in my ears again. Not after everything. But curiosity, or maybe closure, finally won. Her voice was shaky, quiet, different. Not the Lydia who once confidently dismissed my dreams or smiled over my broken heart. This was someone stripped down. "I need to say this even if you don't respond," she began. "I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. I left because I didn't believe I deserved you." She said that the pressure from her family wasn't just external, it became internal. She started believing I was too good, too kind, too real, and that eventually I'd see what she saw in herself. A girl who always needed approval. A girl who couldn't build anything on her own. A girl who wasn't brave enough to bet on someone who hadn't made it yet. "I saw you believing in that speaker project," she said. "And I panicked, not because I thought you'd fail, but because I knew you wouldn't, and I knew I wouldn't be able to keep up. So when my parents offered me a safety net, I took it, and I lost you. I didn't cry. I didn't feel vindicated. I just felt done. Like a door had quietly clicked shut behind me. I could finally breathe in a room that used to feel suffocating. I didn't respond to her voice note. I didn't need to, because at that moment, I realized something. I'd stopped checking for her name in my notifications. I stopped needing her to explain herself. My success wasn't built in spite of her. It had nothing to do with her anymore. For the first time in years, my story belonged to me. The deal with Rydell turned into something even bigger. I hired my first employee, then my second. I moved out of the garage and into a real workspace. My name, once attached to drama and whispers, now appeared next to product reviews and music blogs that called my speakers a quiet revolution. As for love, I found it, not in some perfect package, but in someone who didn't flinch when I told her about the mess I came from. Someone who didn't ask for credentials or family approval. She just listened and stayed. Her name's Elise. She likes jazz, hates cilantro, and the first time she heard my prototype, she said it made her feel like she was standing in the middle of a memory. I knew then. She saw me. Lydia reached out one more time. I didn't open it, because I was finally too busy living the life she thought I'd never reach. And it turns out the best revenge isn't success. It's peace. It's walking past the ashes without feeling the need to look back. Thank you for following Franklin's story. If it resonated with you, drop a comment below about a historical moment where someone overcame public humiliation and rose even stronger. Your favorite comeback story, maybe? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This is Reddit Confessions, and we'll see you in the next story.